This is an exclusive excerpt from the Stuff File program with Peter Anthony Holder.
We have lost yet another major star who was just so much fun to watch and an absolute joy to talk to. Actor Gavin MacLeod, who was best known for 2 roles on 2 long-running television shows, has died at the age of 90. Gavin was Murray Slaughter for the entire run of The Mary Tyler Moore Show, and then right after that, he spent a decade as Merrill Steubing, the captain of the Love Boat. Back in 1994, Gavin came to Montreal to star in the play The Sisters Rosenzweig. He dropped by our studio to chat for a full hour. Here is just part of that conversation now.
Gavin, welcome to studio.
Thanks, Peter. It's nice to be here.
It's nice to have you here.
It's nice to come in out of the rain.
Now, we were just talking off here a little bit a few moments ago about the Love Boat, and when I mentioned Vincent Price, and the one thing I enjoyed about the Love Boat a lot was it was an opportunity to see a lot of actors that unfortunately Hollywood tends to push to the side, and it was great for that.
It was one of the greater thrills of my life. Every week we get to meet new stars, and I just couldn't wait. And Vincent Price, as you mentioned, who's going to be doing a show for you later today on tape, who just died this last year, was one of the first big stars we had on the Love Boat. And he used to tell me stories. He was great. And I always said he should be declared an American treasure, as many of the other older performers who have spent their lives in this business. And Vincent Price started out. He was from St. Louis. And he started out, his big thing was Angel Street in New York, when he played this lascivious man that sort of drove his wife crazy, and then he got into pictures. And then he traveled extensively in the later years as Oscar Wilde. And I went to see his one-man performance, and he was just fabulous. And anyway, he was just one of the many, many stars that came on the show. That was one of the people say, why did you enjoy that show so much? I said, well, number one, it was very, very highly rated at the time it was on. I got to meet some of the biggest stars in show business. I went to my captain's table one morning at 7 o'clock, and there was Helen Hayes, Morris Evans, and Mildred Natwick. When I was a little boy, I used to go to the theater to see them, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to be an actor, to be like them. And there they were at my table, and all talking about how nervous they were about the lines and so forth. No matter how big you get, you still have the same kinds of anxieties and so forth. And that was one of the main reasons for the Love Boat. Also, we traveled the world, and we became, ironically enough, for a show that was called Mindless Television, Goodwill Ambassadors for the United States, because we had to be very careful on our best behavior when we went to these other countries. And then I made a living. I had a chance to support my wife and the kids. And it was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful program from that point of view. Also, now, as a result of that show being on, the cruise industry really is just growing all over the place. Princess Cruises, who I now represent, is the fastest growing cruise line in the world. We have 9 ships, and in the next 2 years we'll have 12. So things are going very nicely. And I think all because of that program that people thought was mindless and so forth,
Now, growing up, I was an absolute couch potato, so I watched everything that was on TV. Mm-hmm. And the first time I saw you was on Hawaii Five-0. Mm-hmm. And playing a really nasty...
Well, his name is Big Chicken. Mm-hmm. And you talk about the Hollywood casting system. I was doing a play at the time, and my agent said they want to see you to play this character. So I went over there, and I picked up the script. It was the place that eventually became where the Mary Tyler Moore Show was shot. And I picked up the script, and they described this guy, Big Chicken, as a guy 6'4", thin, with a goatee. And I said, well, I'm only 5'10.5", dumpy, and no hair.
And you were a little heavier then at the time.
Much heavier then. It was the antithesis of what this character was described as. I said, I won't have a shot at this. But anyway, so I got in there, and I read for a producer who I had never seen before, Joseph Gatman. And I finished, and he said, I never knew you could act. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, I just never knew you could act. He said, I want you to play the part. I said, but it was described as a big tall guy. He said, that was the author. The author who wrote it was John D.F. Black. And he described himself as that character, and I eventually met him when I went to Hawaii. Mm-hmm. And that was how I got Big Chicken in Hawaii Five-0. I went over there. It was the second show they ever shot, so it took a while. I went over to work for 6 days. It turned out to be 10 days, very nicely so, a little money. And as a matter of fact, Ricardo Montalban was the first guest star, and they hadn't finished shooting yet, and I was supposed to take over his suite. So I had to wait for him to finish shooting so I could get into the suite. But the character was so successful, that first one, that they wrote him again. And he came in right at the end of the first year in a show called The Box. And I was up for the Emmy for that one, too. It's interesting, of all the characters I've played, people don't know you until you basically start coming into their rooms week after week, like the Mary Tyler Moore show. And, oh, Murray Slaughter, wow, what a nice, sweet kind of guy. I said, yeah, but I said, you really can get it off on other parts that are really exciting and get your teeth into that people don't really, they remember, but they don't really, you couldn't play Big Chicken on a series. They wouldn't take them into the house every week. But it's ironic that the most recognition I've gotten as an actor has been out of these lascivious kinds of people that are delicious for actors to play.
They're more fun to play?
Oh, they used to be more fun to play when I was younger because I don't know, it's just delicious. And whenever I played heavies for years and years and years, I was bald. I came to Hollywood. I did a play about junk. I was a pusher, so I played pushers for years and years and years. And I did war movies and things like that. And finally, Blake Edwards said, Mo, you've got a sense of comedy. So I started doing comedies for Blake after I played a lead heavy from Peter Gunn. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's the way all that stuff started. And I don't know. Since I'm older, I must tell you, I do enjoy playing nice people. I think there's more longevity, and I hadn't killed anybody on television in years and years. Must have been 20-something years. And I got a call last year from the Aaron Spelling office for Burke's Law. Mm-hmm. Gene Barry was doing those again in color, and Gene is a great guy. He did a lot of Love Boats, and I saw him La Cage aux Folles. He's a terrific man. And so they sent me the script, and I started reading the script. I said, well, there's nothing in the script for me. And we're going, and my character is now in a captain's uniform on a boat telling these three pretty women what to do. I said, well, now that's why they thought about me, because they described a guy in a captain's suit, so they flashed on Steubing right away. But it turns out that he turned out to be the killer. Wow, and there was a wonderful speech at the end. I said, I think I can do something with the speech to justify taking this part and the money. And I did, and it went very well. We got some very nice statements and recognition out of playing that character. But that was the first and last time I had really knocked anybody off on television in many, many, many years.
And the long stretch of being nice in two characters, although one was kind of needling.
Oh yeah, he was great.
He was great.
Well, he had to survive. I mean, it was tough for him in that newsroom with Ted Baxter getting all the glory and this poor guy doing all the work. And
Hi, Sheldon.
Well, Murray worried so much he worried his hair off, so Sheldon still had a little bit on the top there, I see. I want to tell you, that was the greatest group I ever worked with in my life. Mary Tyler Moore and Ed Asner and Oliver Teddy and Valerie and Cloris and Georgia and Betty White. I mean, it's once in a lifetime. And Jay Sandwich, as we did our last show, he was our resident director, He says, I want you to all know that, you're never going to have this in a career again. This is something very, very special. You just take it, you're going to put it on top of your bureau or something, you just say, okay, the Mary Tyler Moore Show, and then get on to making a living. Okay. So I went right from that into the Love Boat. So for me, I was very, very fortunate. I got another gig that lasted almost 10 years.
A lot of people from that show, though, got other gigs. It's ironic that how well they all did after that particular show.
Yeah, well, so something about the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Look at the authors. I mean, look at Jim Brooks and Alan Burns. Alan's writing another movie. My wife just called him the other day about something. And Jim Brooks is, come on, he's won Oscars for, he just is can't stop Jim. He's really going. And then everybody else. Mary has always done brilliant acting, and she continues to do it. She thought, well, Ordinary People, she got an Emmy nomination, an Oscar nomination for that. And everything she does, she gets Emmy nominations, if not win. She's a brilliant actress. I just saw her in New York not long ago, before I came up here to do the play. And then I saw Valerie in New York. Her sister got married, so Georgia and I went to the wedding of my wife and went to the reception in the plaza. So there's a sense of family that still exists, whenever we get together. Mm-hmm. And we just quell over everybody else, everybody's success, And it's too bad that, Betty White is so fabulous that Alan had to die, because she was really she was reaching her pinnacle as an actress and getting respect, and really, she's a great lady too, and Georgia is just one of the sweetest things you ever want to meet in life. So we've had a good time. Too bad Ted's not here, because he was one of the most talented men I ever knew.
Exciting and new, come aboard. We're expecting you and love, life's sweetest reward. Let it flow, it floats back to you. Love boat, soon we'll be making another run. The love boat promises something for everyone. Set a course for adventure, your mind on a new romance. And love won't hurt anymore. It's an open smile on a friendly shore. It's love. Welcome aboard. It's love.
The theme to the Love Boat. I think there are 3 songs that are in people's heads. They can't get them out no matter what they do. Jingle Bells. The McDonald's jingles from the 70s. You deserve a break today. And the Love Boat. Once that's in your head, people will be singing this now for the next 3 weeks.
I hope so. I hope they take a Princess Cruise and come to see the Sisters Rosenzweig.
We have actor Gavin MacLeod, better known as Merrill Steubing. Was Merrill's first name?
Merrill,
Merrill Steubing, and also Murray Slaughter. From,
you know how they got that name, Merrill Steubing?
How?
I said, why did you? I told the guy that wrote the pilot, I said, why did you pick a name like Merrill Steubing? He said, I'm a baseball fan. And there's a great baseball player called Merrill Steubing that none of us had heard of until many, many years ago. That's how that name was used. You find a lot of television scripts with strange names. It's because of friends that they had many, many years ago, the writers, and they're just sort of canonizing them by using those names.
Your 2 best-known characters have the same initials.
I always said that my luggage could always have MS on it.
Okay. What was great for the Love Boat after its initial run was the fact that ABC ran it in the morning.
He has a cactus where?
ABC ran it in the morning at 11 o'clock every day. So I used to catch them all.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
Peter, we were in. It was so hot. We were making new ones the second year.
Mm-hmm.
We were in syndication the second year. So we were on Saturday nights prime time. We were every morning, and then now they put it on Sunday evenings too. So it was all over the place. That coupled with the Mary Tyler Moore reruns and all the other things I had done years ago, all popping up at that particular time. Somebody did an article in one of the newspapers saying at that time I had the most visibility of any actor around. Kind of nice, you know, at that when that thing was happening.
You weren't worried or concerned about overexposure?
Oh no! Oh no! Work is work. You know, a lot of times when parts are offered, it depends where you are with your life. I can't turn this down because it may do something for my image, or I can't turn this down, it may affect my future, you know. You got to put bread on the table. Mm-hmm. You thank God you got the job, you know.
I guess one of the things that's unique about that show was the fact, the Mary Tyler Moore show, was the fact that when you brought up Ed Asner, that in most sitcoms before then, you had true out-and-out comics playing the parts. But here you had actors who could do a broad range of styles. I mean, Lou Grant, from playing Lou Grant on Mary Tyler Moore to going into a dramatic version of Lou Grant, you wouldn't expect that from maybe some of the bigger sitcom stars of years gone by. They're all comics.
Yeah, in a way. Don't forget, Ed had great opportunities during the Mary Tyler Moore show, too. He did, remember, on our first vacation, I was off doing a play, but he did Rich Man, Poor Man. Was that what it was?
Mm-hmm. With Peter Strauss?
Yeah, with Peter Strauss. Yeah, and you know, the big movie.
And
stars.
Roots. He did Roots.
He did Roots.
Yeah.
He did all those things, and yeah, Ed's a terrific actor. But you know, that's what's nice about that's a very good observation. But you know, Dick Van Dyke preceded us, and you know, Dick basically was a funny kind of guy. He's done some very nice serious stuff too. There's always another side to those comics, you know. Usually it's a very serious side. But Dick is very enormously talented. I did a movie with him called The Comic. But anyway, so yeah, that was very interesting.
The one thing that I was impressed with when I saw the performance was the fact that when they bring a star of your caliber to be a headline of play, a local production, sometimes there's always the concern that, with someone who comes in like yourself, the other actors are not up to par. This is definitely not the case. It's a fine cast right through.
This is a group effort. This is group theater. This is no big star turn. You could do things with it to do that, but it would be just out of kilter. This is one reason I like this play. This is a unit. This is a group playing together, and that's the only way this play, I feel, can really be successful and moving. And I'm so lucky to have the people that are in there. I remember I didn't know who was going to be in the play. And we sat down and read it for the first time, and I just thank God under my breath because they were all so good. And my leading ladies are both exceptional, and everybody in the play. I mean, I could just go on all night about them. But people should come and see them because they all live here in Montreal.
It's at the Sadie Bronfman Theatre, and it's playing through until December 31st. The Sisters Rosenzweig starring Gavin MacLeod. And Gavin, I thank you for being in studio with us this evening.
Peter, it's my pleasure. So nice to see you.
That was just part of a conversation with actor Gavin MacLeod. Besides being a great actor, he was the kind of person who was just a big-hearted, open character. An absolute joy to be around. Gavin died at his California home over the weekend, at the age of 90.
You've just heard an exclusive excerpt from the Stuff File program with Peter Anthony Holder. To hear any or all of the full hour-long shows, visit thestufffile.com. Stuff is spelled S-T-U-P-H. That's thestufffile.com. A presentation of Flying Fish Communications.